Hey, it's your girl Shay Shay. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time, and welcome back if you've been here before. Speed's Africa tour was something else. Everywhere he went, fans were hyped, the energy was electric, and for the first part of the trip, it really felt like people were showing up for him. But when he hit North Africa, specifically Egypt, Algeria, and Morocco, the vibe shifted hard. People noticed it immediately. The welcome wasn't the same. There were moments that weren't just uncomfortable, they were openly hostile. Anti-black comments, disrespect, and tension started popping up in ways that hadn't happened in South or East Africa. And for a lot of black Africans watching, it was jarring. By the end of the tour, one thing was clear. This wasn't just about a streamer visiting a few countries. Speed's trip exposed a divide. Disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Don't take anything said here too seriously. It's just jokes, gossip, and opinions. Please relax and enjoy the video. Everything presented in this video is alleged. I'm only spreading the word on the curb, and in no way am giving my personal opinion. When Speed got to Egypt, things immediately sparked online. Fans weren't just watching him react to the pyramids and the Sphinx, they were noticing something deeper. Speed asked multiple people about the broken noses on different statues, and here's the thing, he got different answers. Some people talked about erosion, others blamed the fact that the nose is a very sensitive part on a sculpture, and the inconsistency had people side-eyeing the whole situation and questioning what they were really being told. For many black viewers, this wasn't just a random detail, it tapped into a larger debate about how Egypt represents its history and who gets recognized in that history. The monuments, the tours, the storytelling, for some it felt like a subtle erasure of black presence in one of Africa's most famous civilizations. The debate goes around the actual nose of famous sculptures like the Sphinx and whether the nose has been intentionally removed to consciously erase a predominantly black feature on the Sphinx. And to be honest, a lot of people did side-eye the whole situation, feeling like the rest of the trip in sub-Saharan Africa up until that point had been good vibes, high spirits, and enlightening, whereas they felt that suddenly there was a shift in energy as soon as he got to North Africa.
Into her nose. Why's her nose cut off? Did it fall off, Chat?
Everyone ask me when you just come here why Sphinx is without nose. It's famous from.
So at this point, are we not tired of the lies? So Speed went to Egypt and he was being shown all of the statues and things like that. And Darren Watkins asked this lady, why is his nose broken off? And why is a lot of the statues' noses are gone? And she came up with this crazy explanation as to why they have no noses. But we all know why their noses are broken off. Because a certain people group went over there and they did not want people to know the true history of our world and who the people were during that time. And so they hit off the noses because noses give a complete distinction of a person's ethnicity and where they come from. So the easiest thing to do is to knock off their nose. That's why when you go to all of these historic places, you see a lot of statues with no noses. They do not want you to know in simple terms that they were black people, that they had these types of noses. They don't want you to know that. She comes up with this grand explanation as to why they did it.
After Egypt, things got more intense. In Algeria, Speed was subjected to open anti-black hostility. Most notably, whilst on top of a bus, he was called the hard R N-word. People watching couldn't believe it. Comments like, I did not just hear that. They exposed a reality about the kind of racism that still exists in parts of North Africa. Then came Morocco. The situation escalated. Fans threw bananas at him and shouted racial slurs. For many viewers, it was shocking. Some had expected just a tourism vibe type of video, but instead, Speed found himself navigating a side of that part of the world that's not really talked about openly, the anti-black racism. As you could imagine, there was a lot of backlash, specifically from black people, who were not just upset for Speed, they were angered, confused, and hurt. Many expressed that these incidents made them rethink their perceptions of North Africa and questions whether solidarity with the region was real or conditional. Some people even wondering why Morocco and other North African countries were part of the African Cup, which we'll talk about in the next section.
So I'm not gonna lie, y'all, this is crazy work. So we know that Speed is on his Africa tour or whatever, and he actually went to North Africa, which people already knew once he went to North Africa that they were going to try to be racist towards him. So he ends up trying to help them promote their stadium and, you know, everything they're doing with soccer. So on his way to the event, Speed actually got called the hard R. This is crazy. I mean, he ignored him, but So I'm not gonna lie, that's actually crazy to say that. But Speed, kept his head above float and ignored him. So he ends up going to their stadium where basically groups of people was trying to be funny and tell him like, we don't want to be filmed. Now we know what happened in Egypt. Everything with the statue. And remember, Speed said that they had strict rules. And he said they had a lot of restrictions, so he had to take the streams down and he had to move a little different because y'all know how they get over there. But yeah, once he went into the stadium, it was groups of people like saying like, I don't want to be filmed. So he had to kind of maneuver because if he did film him, how it could end. And I'm pretty sure Speed don't want to deal with that. So, they ended up taking matters into their own hands and like just throwing stuff at him. Like they're throwing tomatoes, all types of stuff as he's walking. Check this out.
Oh, hell no! What they doing? Don't panic! I'm not even on a rivalry team!
So yeah, they're definitely being weird towards Speed. But people already said that was going to happen. First the Egypt stuff, now here. At the end of the day, Speed, you should have knew though, because people were trying to warn you. And he wasn't doing nothing but trying to help them and promote their stuff, their stadium, the way that they run soccer and stuff like that. It's actually wild when you think about it.
Was in Morocco, the energy online shifted again, this time around football. Once Senegal won, and I'm not going to go over the whole drama during the match. There's channels who are much more able to go through the whole situation with you better than I can. But once Senegal won, the tone in certain spaces turned ugly. People noticed racist language being directed at Senegal, but also at Black Africans in general. That moment made things feel even more divided. It stopped being about a streamer's tour and started to feel like it was North Africa versus the rest of Africa on steroids. Senegal was getting love from across the continent. I know people from my country were definitely supporting Senegal, while Morocco was getting less support internationally, especially across the rest of Africa. And what people noticed is as soon as it was declared that Senegal had won, the atmosphere turned very ugly, with some viewers reported seeing explicit anti-Black sentiment and conspiracy-style accusations online, saying that Senegal had stolen the one, commenting that Senegal was treated unfairly only to win anyway, followed by racist attacks against Senegalese fans and Black Africans more generally.
And you wonder why people were supporting Senegal. That is a banana. That is somebody with a black face, covered in black. That is definitely someone with a lighter shade of skin. This is Morocco. This is Morocco. Look at the that is happening with a banana. Giving it to him. The guy was smiling. Handing over a banana to somebody covered in black, but he has a lighter skin. And this is Morocco. What are you doing to your fellow Africans? What are you doing, Morocco? What are you doing? Fair play award. Fair play award to these people. Fair play award to these people. Fair play award for this and many things they did. Collecting goalkeeper towel, all those kind of intimidation they used in the stadium. Senegal not having security and many other stuff like that. Ticketing problems. Look at them laughing. Bunch of them a crowd. No one can come out and say this is wrong.
Now, before finishing this video, I think it would be irresponsible to say that the tour, once it reached North Africa, was only negative. Of course, that's not true. There were a lot of positives. He showed off how beautiful some of these countries are, and he really did seem to enjoy his tour of North Africa, but it would be wrong not to mention, obviously, the negative aspects. Please leave all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below, and leave a like if you've enjoyed this content so far. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Shay out.